What's up everyone, Kashi here, and in today's video, we are going to be doing something a little bit different. Today we aren't going to explore the science behind a new vehicle or a new automotive invention. Today we're going from fact to fiction. In this episode, I am going to be ranking the best Japanese sports car released in every single year throughout the 1990s. Now before we get started, I just want to give you all a huge thank you for 50 subscribers. We just hit 50 subscribers around a month ago. Now I realize that 50 subs isn't much, but to me this is a huge milestone. I just wanted to thank every single one of you for all your love and support to the channel. This video was actually a 50 subscriber special, a token of gratitude and appreciation to all of you. Thank you all so much, and I am extremely grateful. Now, let us return back to the episode. Let's get into it, starting with the year 1990. 1990 saw the release of the Mitsubishi GTO, also known as the Dodge Stealth, and the 3000 GT. The GTO was a great performance machine with modern technology like four-wheel drive, four-wheel steering, and active aero to help it surpass its competition. However, while the 3000 GT/Stealth/GTO is a great sports car, I believe the greatest Japanese sports car released in 1990 is none other than the legendary Honda/Acura NSX. The NSX stood for New Sports Car Experimental, and it was a masterpiece of design and engineering. Honda collaborated with legendary Formula One racer Ayrton Senna in order to develop the NSX. Rest in peace, Ayrton Senna. The initial purpose of the NSX was to beat Ferrari supercars at the time. The NSX sported a mid-engine, rear-wheel drive powertrain. Its cabin and windshield took inspiration from an F-16 fighter jet and was designed to allow for superb visibility. Its all-aluminum monocoque body was light but rigid and strong, and of course, its 270 horsepower 3-liter C38 V6 engine came with Honda's famous VTEC to give it a boost of performance at higher RPMs. The original Honda NSX took the world by storm and is, in my opinion, the greatest Japanese sports car released in 1990. Next, we arrive at the year of 1991. In 1991, Toyota introduced the Lexus SC400. The SC400 was powered by Toyota's famous 1UZ-FE 4-liter V8 motor. The 1UZ is a robust motor, able to handle some serious abuse and power while maintaining reliability. The 1UZ-FE was placed behind the front axles, giving the SC400 mid-engine-like characteristics. With huge aftermarket supports, the SC400 is a popular tuner car choice. It can be built for drifting, drag racing, track racing, or even just as a fun, reliable daily driver. In my opinion, the Lexus SC400 is the best Japanese sports car released in 1991. 1992 saw the release of numerous iconic Japanese sports cars. These included the original GC8 Subaru WRX, the all-wheel drive rally legend, and the NSX Type R, which took Honda's supercar to the next level, with track-oriented upgraded suspension and extreme weight reduction. By getting rid of all luxury comfort features like power windows, AC, a sound system, and even sound deadening, Honda was able to cut the NSX's weight down by a whopping 120 kilograms. Both the OG WRX and NSX Type R are incredible performance machines. However, there is another contender for 1992, the Mazda FD RX-7. Now this was an extremely tough decision. All three of these cars are incredible in their own way. Now the Honda fanboy in me is telling me to go for the NSX Type R, but I've already given the NSX a win for 1990, so I'm gonna give this year to another contender. The FD RX-7 and Subaru WRX are two very different, iconic Japanese sports cars. The GC8 WRX had a turbocharged 236.7 horsepower EJ 4-cylinder boxer engine with rally-inspired features and tech and aggressive suspension. WRX stands for World Rally Experimental, and the company's turbocharged all-wheel drive car has stayed true to its rally roots ever since. The GC8 WRX began competing in Group A rally racing in 1993, piloted by numerous skilled drivers, including the legend Colin McRae. Rest in peace, Colin McRae. The WRX got its first win in 1994 at Acropolis, Greece. It also won at New Zealand and Great Britain in 1994. It then went on to win 5 titles in 1995 and 3 more in 1996. The GC8 Impreza was truly a legendary car, cementing itself in the history of rally racing and Subaru fans' hearts. It truly changed the automotive community for decades. The FDRX7 came with a 252 horsepower, 1.3-liter twin-turbo, 13B REW, 2-rotor rotary engine. The FDRX7 was the final generation of the RX-7, arguably Mazda's most influential, iconic sports car. Now, rotary engines definitely aren't perfect. They burn oil, they release a ton of emissions, and they blow apex seals. However, rotary engines also have benefits. They have excellent power to displacement ratios, they can smoothly rev to very high RPMs, and they have very few moving parts. And who doesn't love the sound of a rotary engine? I find rotary engines to be fascinating, but for a different reason. Mazda was the first company to give up the tried and true piston engine and use a new Wankel rotary engine in their Cosmo Sports. They were brave and creative enough to test out a new type of engine in a production car. As decades passed, the Cosmo Sports classic rotary engine evolved, getting more rotors, twin turbos, and higher displacements. Even if rotary has many flaws, I have to give full respect to Mazda for their courage and creativity. I love it when companies think outside the box, which is exactly what Mazda has done with the rotary engine. The FDRX7 was one of Mazda's last cars to be powered by a rotary, and through shows like Initial D, games like Need for Speed, and movies like Fast and Furious, the RX-7 has become an icon of the Japanese tuner car scene. When you hear the words JDM and Mazda, one of the first cars that comes to mind is the FDRX7. So both of these cars are incredible in their own way. The GC8 WRX gave birth to a rally legend, and the FDRX7 changed the tuner scene forever. So although these two cars are very different, I'm gonna have to say that 1992 is a tie between the FDRX7 and GC8 WRX. Moving on to the year of 1993, and we have another year with tons of JDM legends that were released. The Nissan S14 Silvia, the Integra, the Nissan Skyline R32 GTR V-Spec, and the Mark IV Supra. 4 iconic cars which have become legends in the tuner car scene. I love the S14 Silvia and 3rd Gen Integra, but they're more like budget, daily drivable, fun weekend track toys. That's not to say they're bad in any way, but the other two cars are at a whole different level. So I'm gonna have to say goodbye to the Integra and the S14 for now. The two cars that remain are probably two of the greatest, most influential, recognizable JDM cars ever. We got the R32 GTR V-Spec and the Toyota Mark IV Supra. The regular Nissan Skyline R32 GTR is my favorite car of all time. Its 2.6-liter 6-cylinder twin-turbo RB26 motor makes 276 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. The R32 is one of the first vehicles to have Nissan's famous ATESA ETS all-wheel drive system. ATESA stands for Advanced Total Traction Engineering System for all-terrain, and ETS stands for Electronic Torque Splits. Nissan's genius Atessa system is what allowed the R32 to put up a fight against cars with better power-to-weight ratios. Instead of using a mechanical center differential like most other all-wheel drive systems at the time, Nissan's Atessa used an electronic center differential. The Atessa system continuously monitors the car's load and traction, and the electronic center differential continuously varies the torque splits between the front and rear axles to maximize speed and traction at all times. In addition, the R32's RB26 engine is very over-engineered, with a cast iron block and robust internals, able to handle loads of power. The R32 saw immense success in Group A and Group N racing, dominating in Japan and Australia, earning the nickname Godzilla. The V-Spec stood for Victory Specification and honored the motorsport success of the R32. The R32 V-Spec had Brembo brakes, an upgraded Atessa ETS system, better BBS wheels and tires, and a lightweight Nismo hood and front bumper. On the other hand, we have the Mark IV Supra, with Toyota's famous 3-liter twin-turbo 6-cylinder 2JZ GTE engine, one of the most famous over-engineered engines ever. The 2JZ was built to compete with Nissan's RB26, and Toyota didn't cut any corners. The 2JZ GTE had a cast iron block, dual overhead cams, a fully closed deck, a forged crankshaft, and oil squirters to provide extra lubrication at higher RPMs. In addition, the non-VVTi variant of the 2JZ GTE is a non-interference engine, meaning that if the timing belt breaks, the piston won't go crashing into the valves. Because the 2JZ is so over-engineered, it's incredibly easy to just slap on a big old turbo and make 5, 6, 700 horsepower. The Mark IV Supra's appearance in the first Fast and Furious movie skyrocketed the popularity of the Mark IV Supra, and it's part of what makes the Supra such a desirable tuner car. The R32 GTR V-Spec and Mark IV Toyota Supra are legends of the Japanese tuner car scene. Without these two incredible machines, the tuner car scene just wouldn't be the same, and so I say that 1993 was a tie between the Mark IV Supra and Nissan Skyline R32 GTR V-Spec. Moving on to 1994, and we see a couple more big names in the JDM tuning scene. 1994 saw the release of the Skyline R32 GTR V-Spec 2, which was still a cool car, but it wasn't much of an upgrade over the original V-Spec. The V-Spec 2 just had some wider tires. 1994 also saw the introduction of the all-wheel drive turbocharged ST205 6th-gen Toyota Celica GT4. However, I believe the best car released in 1994 was the original 247 horsepower WRX STI, which took the WRX to the next level. The STI used blueprinted performance-tuned motors, transmissions, and suspensions to improve the WRX's rally capabilities and performance even further. The next year on the list is 1995, and I think now I can finally give a solid win to my favorite car company, Nissan. 1995 saw the release of the R33 Skyline GTR, the R32's big bro. The R33 had an almost identical engine and manual transmission as its little brother. However, it did have a stronger oil pump drive collar, which was prone to fail on the R32. The R33 also got the V-Spec treatment, which had an upgraded suspension and a new and improved Atessa ETS Pro all-wheel drive system, which included an active limited slip differential for even better handling, speed, and traction. The R33 lapped the deadly Nürburgring track in just 8 minutes and 1.72 seconds, breaking the record for the fastest production car Nürburgring lap time. The record was then broken again by the R33 V-Spec, which ran the track in just 7 minutes and 59 seconds. The R33 LM race car competed in Le Mans in 1995, finishing in 5th in its class and 10th overall. The R33 Skyline GTR is the greatest Japanese sports car of 1995, well, in my opinion. Moving on to 1996 and, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
You gotta be kidding me.
We see another Toyota versus Nissan matchup. This time it's the 6th gen JZX 100 Toyota Chaser versus the Nissan S14 Silvia Koki, aka facelift. The S14 and the Chaser are both very similar machines. Both cars make similar power and are both commonly used for drift racing. The Chaser can be had with numerous engine options, but the most people prefer either the 1JZ GTE or 2JZ GE. The S14 is powered by Nissan's turbo 2-liter SR20 DET 4-banger. The S14 Silvia and Toyota Chaser both have tons of aftermarket support and parts, and incredible tuning potential. Their versatile chassis and robust engines make them a great platform for modifying, building, and racing. Both the JZX 100 Chaser and S14 Silvia are incredible Japanese machines and are tied for the two best Japanese sports car released in 1996, in my opinion. Moving on to the year of 1997, and we see the fourth Honda mentioned in this video, the EK9 Civic Type R. The EK9 was based off the 6th gen Civic SIR hatchback, and it was the first ever Civic Type R. It took everything great about the Civic and made it even better. Like the NSX Type R, Honda removed sound deadening and other luxuries to reduce the EK9's weight. It had a helical limited slip diff, an upgraded close ratio transmission, a more rigid chassis, Recaro bucket seats, red interior bits cause we all know red increases horsepower, and a Momo steering wheel. Although the EK9 didn't have a turbo, its hand-ported B16B engine made a respectable 182 horsepower and 118 pound-feet of torque. That's pretty impressive, considering the B16B only has 1.6 liters of displacement. The B16B took the light Civic from 0 to 60 in 6.7 seconds and did the quarter mile in 15.3. The EK9's top speed was 225 kilometers per hour, or 140 miles per hour. The EK9 Civic Type R proves that horsepower isn't everything for a fun car, and I believe it's the best sports car released in 1997. Moving on to 1998, and we see a battle of two rally legends, the Mitsubishi Evo 5 and the Subaru WRX STI 22B. The WRX STI 22B is one of the most desirable, prestigious, and rarest Subarus ever made. It was built to celebrate Subi's 40th anniversary, as well as 3 consecutive manufacturer's titles for Subaru in the WRC. Only 424 22Bs were built. The 22B was the only Subaru to use the EJ22G motor. The EJ22G was bored to achieve a displacement of 2.2 liters. It was a robust closed-deck engine with forged pistons, a dual overhead cam setup, and a big old IHI turbocharger. Subaru claimed that the 22B made 280 horsepower, a 33 horsepower increase from the base WRX STI. However, it is often argued that the 22B actually produced much more than what Subaru claimed, like 300 or 305 horsepower. The 22B got a unique blue paint color, a WRC-inspired wide-body kit, an adjustable rear spoiler, and Bilstein suspension. The 22B got red STI brakes, cause we all know that red increases horsepower, and finally, it got larger wheels and an upgraded clutch. Due to the 22B's rarity and performance upgrades, these things are la creme de la creme for Subaru enthusiasts. In fact, 22Bs sell from $100,000 all the way up to $400,000, which is absolutely insane. Now, the Mitsubishi Land Evo 5 isn't a special edition limited model like the 22B, but it's considered by many as one of the most pivotal, game-changing generations of the Mitsubishi Land Evo. The Evo 5 had a similar 2-liter 4G63 motor as its predecessors. However, it had an upgraded turbo, pumping out 275 pound-feet of torque and a claimed 276 horsepower, although it is argued that the Evo 5 produced more horsepower than claimed. Its 4G63 engine saw upgrades as well. It was strengthened, had bigger cams, bigger injectors, and lighter pistons. The ECU was also upgraded, allowing for more turbo boost. The Evo 5 got a rally-ready body kit, a wider track, and bigger wheels and brakes. It had two trim levels, the RS and GSR. The RS had a close ratio rally transmission, rally suspension, a 1.5-way LSD, and other rally goodies. The GSR was more luxurious, with active yaw control, ABS, AC, power windows, and a double-din audio system. The Evo 5 wasn't just all show and no go either. In 1998, it won 7 out of 13 WRC events, winning its first manufacturer's championship. In addition, legendary rally racer Tommy Mäkinen piloted the Evo 5 to win his third driver's championship in a row. So which car is better? The 2-2B is the ultimate version of the WRX STI. But the Evo 5 took Mitsubishi's performance rally machine to the next level and changed the Land Evo forever. Both of these cars are just as influential and iconic, but in their own way. Without either of these cars, the world of rally just wouldn't be the same. Every car has its own special qualities, and that's what makes comparing them so interesting. So therefore, for the best Japanese sports car released in 1998, I'm calling it a tie between these two rally legends. And finally, we have arrived at the final year of the 1990s, 1999. 1999 saw the release of so many Japanese legends. The S2000 was Honda's mid-engine roadster that was a beast at handling. The Evo 6 took the Evo 5's capabilities even further with upgraded engine bits and cooling system. The S15 Silvia is probably the most iconic drift vehicle of all time, and Toyota's MRS/MR2 Roadster was so light and good at handling, it was compared to the Porsche Boxster. Some journalists even called the MRS the best handling car at the time. However, for 1999, I think the best JDM car is none other than the Nissan R34 GTR. The R34 got an upgraded turbo, upgraded rear wheel steering, upgraded all-wheel drive, upgraded camshafts, and upgraded 6-speed get-track gearbox. The R34 took everything, both good and bad, from its predecessors and gave it an upgrade. Like the R33, the R34 got a V-Spec trim with a Tesla ETS Pro all-wheel drive, but it also had upgraded suspension. The V-Spec also had side splitters and a rear air diffuser made from carbon fiber. Without a doubt, the R34 is an icon of the automotive scene. Paul Walker drove 2 of these in the Fast and Furious franchise. When you hear the term JDM, the R34 almost immediately comes to mind. If it weren't for the R34 Skyline GTR, the Japanese car scene, the tuner car scene, and maybe even the car industry as a whole. That was a huge voice crack. And maybe even the car industry as a whole just wouldn't be the same. Therefore, I believe the Nissan R34 Skyline GTR is the greatest Japanese sports car to come out in 1999. And there you have it. We had some ties. We had some difficult, heartbreaking choices, but we did it. We ranked the best Japanese sports car released in every year throughout the 1990s.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
I had a lot of fun in making this episode, and I hope you all enjoyed it just as much as I did. I'm a huge JDM fan, and my favorite car companies are Nissan and Honda. What about you? Are you a JDM fan, or do you prefer American, German, British, or Italian cars? What are your favorite car companies? Let us know down in the comments. Now, I did a lot of research while making this video, but just in case I left out any iconic JDM cars, feel free to let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing. And thank you all so much again for 50 subscribers. Thank you all very much for watching. Stay safe, hope you enjoyed the episode, and we will see you all next time. Peace out.